Imagine this. You wake up, you reach for your phone, and before you've even brushed your teeth, you've scrolled through 3 notifications, opened 2 apps, and checked one message that didn't even matter. That's the world we live in. Our attention is constantly being pulled in every direction. And here's the wild part. Science shows that the average human attention span has now dropped to just 8 seconds. That's shorter than a goldfish! A goldfish!
In the middle of this chaos, focus isn't just nice to have, it's becoming a superpower. Think about it. If everyone around you is distracted, the one person who can stay locked in on a task has the edge. It's like being the only athlete who trained for a marathon while the others kept sprinting in random directions. Focus gives you endurance in a noisy world.
I've seen this in my own life. Whenever I try to multitask, answering emails, while watching a video, while half thinking about what I'll eat for dinner, nothing actually gets done. But the moment I cut out the noise, silence the notifications, and commit to one thing, my productivity skyrockets. That's not magic. That's focus, acting like fuel.
And it's not just personal. Look at leaders, entrepreneurs, creators. Their real advantage isn't always raw talent or intelligence. It's their ability to block out the noise long enough to see a vision through. In the age of infinite distractions, focus separates the people who consume endlessly from the people who actually build. Here's the twist. Technology, the very thing that steals our attention, has also raised the stakes. Social media platforms, apps, endless alerts, they're designed to hijack our brains. Every ping, every scroll, every flashing red dot is training us to crave novelty instead of depth. So if you can resist that pull, even just for a little while, you're already ahead of the game. Focus is no longer passive. It's active resistance. It's survival.
And here's where it gets exciting. The scarcity of focus makes it more valuable than ever. In economics, when something is rare, it becomes precious. Gold, diamonds, oil. Today, focus is on that list. It's the hidden currency of success in the 21st century. So the question becomes, can we train it? Can focus be strengthened the same way we train our bodies at the gym? Because if focus really is a muscle, then anyone can build it. And that's where the real story begins. If focus feels like a modern superpower, here's the truth. It has always been the secret weapon of great minds. Throughout history, the ability to shut out distractions has been the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Picture a philosopher in ancient Greece retreating to a quiet garden to wrestle with ideas that would shape civilizations, or an artist in Renaissance Florence, locking the studio doors, lost for days in the details of a single brushstroke. Long before smartphones, the world was still noisy. There were markets, politics, gossip, the chaos of everyday survival. Yet the ones who stood out were the ones who could step away from it all and enter deep focus. Fast forward to the modern era, and you see the same pattern. Steve Jobs, for example, was famous for his obsessive concentration. He would cut through countless ideas, discard what didn't matter, and pour all his energy into what did. That's how he built products that didn't just function, but reshaped culture. Then there's Warren Buffett. People often imagine him as a financial wizard with supernatural instincts, but he credits much of his success to focus, his discipline to say no to almost everything. In fact, Buffett once said that the difference between successful people and really successful people is that the really successful ones say no almost all the time. That's not about rejection, that's about concentration. And if you look back even further, you'll notice the same theme in science, in art, in leadership. Newton isolated himself during the plague years, quietly developing the laws of motion. Writers disappearing into cabins to finish books that changed generations. Focus has always been the forge where human breakthroughs are made. Here's the interesting twist. Society has always admired this quality. We look at people who can dive deep and we call them geniuses, visionaries, leaders. Focus has been the invisible thread linking greatness across centuries. But now, in a world where attention is fragmented into seconds,
That thread is harder to hold on to, which raises a powerful question. If focus has always been the hallmark of greatness, how do we actually train it today? So far, we've looked at focus as a kind of superpower, admired by history and demanded by the modern world. But what does science actually say about how concentration works?
Here's the fascinating part. Focus isn't just a mental choice, it's a biological process. When you lock in on something, whether it's solving an equation, practicing music, or even reading this sentence, your brain flips into a different mode. Neurotransmitters like dopamine and norepinephrine surge, sharpening your alertness. Your brain waves literally shift, moving into patterns that support deep concentration. It's like your mind entering a high-performance gear.
And the best part? You can train this gear to engage more easily. Research shows that even short bursts of mindfulness meditation can have measurable effects. One study with college students found that just 10 minutes of meditation improved their concentration during exams. Not 10 days, not 10 weeks, 10 minutes. Imagine that. Less time than it takes to scroll through your morning feed, and yet the payoff is sharper focus when it really matters.
A 2018 paper put it even more directly. Mindfulness meditation improves the ability to sustain attention, even in beginners. That's powerful because it means you don't have to be a monk on a mountain to see results. Anyone at any level can step into this training and feel the difference almost immediately.
I've tried this myself before important work sessions. At first, it felt silly, just sitting still, focusing on my breath while my mind kept wandering. But then I noticed something strange. After a few minutes, the mental chatter quieted. The temptation to check my phone or drift into random thoughts faded. When I opened my laptop, the work felt smoother, like my brain had been tuned. That's the biology in action.
And if you think about it, this is revolutionary. We spend hours trying to grind our way into productivity, but the science is saying sometimes the fastest way forward is to pause. 10 minutes of stillness can buy you hours of clarity. Which brings us to the next big question. If focus can be trained like this, what happens when we treat it like a muscle and build it consistently, day after day?
If focus is a muscle, then modern life is the gym that's constantly trying to tear it down. Let's get real. The numbers are brutal. The average human attention span has collapsed to just 8 seconds. That's shorter than a goldfish. And here's the kicker. Once you get distracted, it takes on average 25 minutes to return to your original task. 25 minutes, gone, just because you glanced at one notification. Think about how often we set ourselves up for failure. On average, people check their phones 58 times a day. Each buzz, each ping, each swipe looks harmless, but together they slice our focus into fragments. Imagine trying to write a book, build a business, or even just enjoy a conversation when your mind is being yanked away dozens of times before lunch. It's no wonder deep work feels impossible.
I've felt this in my own routine. I'll be working, fully locked in, and then my phone lights up. A message, a news alert. Suddenly, I'm gone. 5 minutes later, I don't even remember what I was doing. That mental whiplash adds up. It's not just a hit to productivity, it creates stress because your brain never gets the satisfaction of completing a task. It's always half here, half there.
And multitasking, we glorify it, but the science is merciless. Multitasking doesn't make you efficient, it makes you scattered. You're not doing two things at once, you're rapidly switching, burning energy, and losing depth. It's like trying to run a marathon while constantly changing shoes. You never hit your stride.
This is the paradox of our time. Technology, the tool that was supposed to save us time, now consumes it. Notifications aren't neutral. They're engineered to hook us, to keep us clicking. And every time they win, we lose a piece of our focus. That's why focus today feels almost supernatural. It's not that humans suddenly lost the ability to concentrate. It's that the battlefield has shifted. Attention has become the rarest resource, the hidden currency that separates those who thrive from those who drown in the noise.
So the question becomes, in a world built to distract us, how do we reclaim that power? How do we train focus so it resists the digital pull and grows stronger every day? So far, we've seen that focus is both rare and powerful. The next step is simple. How do we actually train it? The good news is you don't need to escape to a monastery or delete every app on your phone. Focus can be built through small, practical steps that fit into real life. The first tool is meditation. And I'm not talking about hours of silence on a mountaintop. Research shows that even 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation can sharpen your attention, reduce stress, and improve the quality of your work. 10 minutes. That's shorter than the time most of us spend scrolling before bed. I've tried this on busy days. I set a timer, close my eyes, and just breathe. When I come back, the noise in my head is quieter, and my work feels lighter. It's like hitting a mental reset button.
The second tool is what Cal Newport calls deep work. This means carving out distraction-free blocks of time to dive fully into a single task. No phone, no email, no multitasking, just you and the work. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your brain craves the dopamine hit of checking notifications. But once you push past that urge, you unlock a level of flow where hours can pass like minutes. That's when real breakthroughs happen.
Another technique is attention management. Instead of trying to force your brain to run endlessly, you cycle it. Short breaks, scheduled pauses, even a quick walk outside can refresh your focus. There's a story about a CEO who swore by 5-minute breaks between meetings. While everyone else pushed nonstop, he treated those pauses like sharpening a blade. By the end of the day, he was still sharp, while others were burned out. And here's the truth. You don't need to use every method at once. The power is in consistency. 10 minutes of meditation a day, one block of deep work each morning, a conscious decision to step away before fatigue sets in. Each of these is like a rep at the mental gym, slowly building the muscle of focus. Because when you practice these habits, you start to notice the difference. You finish tasks faster, stress doesn't hit as hard, ideas come more easily, and most importantly, you feel present, not scattered. Which brings us to the final question. If focus really is the new superpower, what kind of life can we build once we master it?
In the 21st century, focus isn't just helpful, it's the ultimate competitive advantage. Think about it. Everyone has access to the same information, the same tools, the same technologies. The difference between those who succeed and those who struggle isn't intelligence or talent. It's the ability to concentrate on what truly matters.
Cal Newport calls this deep work, and he argues it's the single most valuable skill in our economy. Deep work is the discipline of cutting out distractions and pouring yourself fully into a task until you produce something meaningful, something unique. In a world obsessed with speed and multitasking, deep work is rare, and because it's rare, it's incredibly valuable. Here's the paradox. The modern world rewards people who can do less, but do it with total focus. Look at the most successful entrepreneurs, artists, or scientists today. They're not chasing every opportunity or juggling endless to-do lists. They're doubling down on the few things that matter most and ignoring the rest. That's not laziness, that's clarity. I've seen this play out in my own work. Whenever I spread myself too thin, trying to answer every email, accept every meeting, and start every project, my results collapse. But the moments I've forced myself to focus on one script, one idea, one challenge, that's when the breakthroughs happen. That's when the work feels alive.
And here's the beauty of it. Focus is democratic. It doesn't matter if you're a student, a freelancer, or a CEO. You can choose to practice it. You can choose to block out the noise, train your attention, and give yourself fully to what's in front of you. The world doesn't need more multitaskers. It needs more people who are brave enough to concentrate.
So when you think about success in this century, ask yourself,
What's the one thing worth giving your attention to today? Because the ones who answer that question and follow through are the ones shaping the future.
In the 21st century, the battlefield is no longer physical, it's mental. We are living in an age where information multiplies faster than we can consume it, and distractions are engineered to steal every second of our attention. In such a world, those who can stay focused aren't just more productive, they are more powerful. Focus has become the ultimate superpower.
Think about it. Two people can have the same access to tools, the same education, even the same opportunities. But the one who knows how to block out noise, sit with one problem, and push it until it breaks open, that's the person who wins. Cal Newport calls this deep work, and it explains why some individuals create breakthroughs while others drown in busy work.
Here's the paradox. Focus is rare, but it's not exclusive. It's not something you're either born with or without. It's a skill, like a muscle. And like any muscle, it can be trained. 10 minutes of meditation a day may sound insignificant, but research shows it measurably boosts concentration during stressful situations like exams. That's not philosophy, that's science proving the mind is trainable. Now imagine scaling that up. Imagine what happens when you dedicate not just 10 minutes, but a lifestyle to protecting your attention. Your work becomes deeper, your results compound, and in a world where everyone is skimming, scrolling, and multitasking, your ability to focus on one thing becomes a competitive edge no algorithm can replicate.
Here's the takeaway. The future won't belong to those who know the most, or even to those who move the fastest. It will belong to those who can focus the deepest. And that's not reserved for geniuses or billionaires. It's available to anyone who's willing to train their attention.
So here's your challenge. Try it. Tomorrow, choose one task that matters and give it your full, undivided focus. Or take just 10 minutes to meditate. Feel what it's like to reclaim your mind, even briefly. That small experiment could be the first step toward building the kind of focus that not only changes your productivity, but changes your life.
Because in the end, distractions are infinite, but so is your potential if you can learn to focus it.